What's happening, fellas and ladies? Ryan here. This is the DFS 5-pack. We're ready to talk about the Sunday three-game slate we have on DraftKings. If you haven't gotten the 411 on what we're going to be doing for the playoffs, it's real simple. We're going to cover both slates this weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday. The contests on DK are much better for the individual three-game slates than they are mishmashing them together. So for customers, we'll have a write-up for each day. We've already done a members only for each of them. If you guys would be interested in some NFL DFS information, $10 via the PayPal address below. You can get the write-ups for the rest of the playoffs. Very, very affordable. Let's talk about the Sunday slate as we did the Saturday information yesterday. If you can, click the thumbs up button, guys. It is always, always sincerely appreciated. Like I said, the 5-pack promotion for the NFL right now, a $10 payment via PayPal. I'll use the email address that you've employed with it, and I will get you out all the NFL write-ups for the rest of the playoffs. That's the rest of the playoffs, everything we got. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Let's start with Baltimore Ravens quarterback, signal caller, Lamar Jackson. So, in my opinion, he is the best option at quarterback on the slate. On both slates, both Saturday and Sunday, I have the money. I'm going to spend up on quarterback. I like Lamar in this spot. So, if you want to talk about the fact that he has not been great in the playoffs to start his career, okay, I understand that. But where are you going on this slate to pick out a quarterback that has had great playoff success? Drew Brees hasn't been great lately. He's got a lot of, experience right here, but he's not a very ideal pick in my opinion. And that's kind of the same thing for Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger has not been great in the playoffs in recent memory. I'm not saying he's a bad play for this one, but for me, Lamar Jackson, if you're looking for motivation, like I don't believe in stuff like this, but again, I'm not always right. Some people look at things differently, and this is one area maybe I am wrong. So I don't think he needs extra motivation because it's the playoffs, and they want to win this game because it's very, very important, their aspirations of what it is that they want to do. But if you're looking for extra motivation, like they got embarrassed by the Titans last year, and now they get to roll back into this matchup. This time they get to go to Tennessee. For me, the big thing right here is Tennessee is just by far the worst defense in the playoffs. They cannot generate a pass rush to save their lives. They're awful on third down, which allows teams to sustain drives against them. Lamar Jackson has those very, very fast-moving legs that give him a high floor and a high ceiling. This is my favorite play at quarterback by a pretty big margin on this slate. And the biggest reason is why Tennessee's defense is just significantly worse than pretty much anybody but Cleveland on this slate. And I think they're worse than Cleveland's, in my opinion. He's also easy to afford with all the paydown options we have everywhere. Next up, I'm going to double up on the Baltimore Ravens right here and go with stud rookie running back J.K. Dobbins. Guys, it's the playoffs. It's time to let the big dog eat. No time to waste carries on Mark Ingram. Yeah, Gus Edwards will see a few touches, but Dobbins is just a flat-out stud. I mean, this guy is averaging, just doing the math on the top of my head right now, about 6 yards a carry this year. He's scored in 6 straight weeks. My bold call, and it's not even bold at all, is Tim. He'll make it 7 in this one. The Tennessee defense stinks, especially by the standards of the defenses that are left in the playoffs right now. So this is actually a rare occasion where stacking a quarterback and a running back in GPPs can actually make sense because they do it differently. This is normally, unless you're talking like a Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara, usually playing a quarterback with a running back is illogical in the GPP sense of it because they're going to eat into each other. You don't throw a lot of touchdowns to running backs. You're not stacking. This is different, though, because it's a shorter slate. We only got 6 teams in play right here. Dobbins and Lamar can both eat. We've seen it on several occasions differently because they are a running football team. Yes, they throw it a little bit, but the goal is to run the ball. And while Tennessee's pass defense might be a little worse than their run defense, you're not at all scared of their run defense. And the Baltimore Ravens running attack is absolutely lethal. Very similar. If you're looking for extra motivation, this Ravens team was embarrassed by the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs last year. I don't think you specifically need it right here. For me, this is all about the fact that the Tennessee defense just isn't very good. And if they get a lead in this situation, Baltimore has no problem just absolutely just brutalizing you with their running attack from both the running backs and their quarterback. Dobbins is really, really good. He's as fresh as any running back going right now, at least as far as guys that are going to see a bunch of touches. I don't love the fact he's not incorporated in the passing game, but this kid is good enough to get you major points on his legs alone in the running game. Next up, let's talk about a couple of wide receivers. And they're actually both going to come from the same game. So let's go over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers run about as effectively as a foot race between Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina. This means they are forced into a situation where the only way they can get after you is with that quick passing attack. This is where Deontay Johnson eats. He's a PPR monster. These quick passes are almost an extension of the running game for him. James Conner and the running attack, they're just not very successful running the football, which means they have no other option but to get you with the passing game, specifically their quick passes. This is where Deontay Johnson and all those PPR points come in. Steelers' offense has always been a little bit better at home under the Big Ben regime, so this should be no different. He's an absolute target monster, and I think the price tag is more than fair right here. Next up, let's flip it over to the other side of the ball and talk about a Cleveland Browns wide receiver, Jarvis Landry. So you've heard us here at the 5-Pack the last couple months discuss the idea of telling yourself a story about each game. This is a bad spot for Cleveland. They lose their coach. For my money, I think they're going to get down in this game, and they're going to force to deviate from what it is that they like to do, which is run the ball and pound the ball with Nick Chubb, and they're going to have to pass the ball a little bit more than they normally feel comfortable with. This is where a guy like Jarvis Landry, with his ability to run short intermediate routes, should get plenty of looks within the passing game, be his typical PPR beast target monster type of fella. They use him in creative ways. I don't know if not having Stefanski around might limit their creative plays this week. So be it if that's the thing. He still has plenty of ways to get you because I envision the Cleveland Browns having to throw the ball right here. I'm sure Pittsburgh will do everything they can do to try to limit their running attack. And Jarvis Landry with Beckham out is just by far their best wide receiver. Last up, let's talk about the tight ends. We got a guy in the Chicago Bears at 3K that goes by the name of Klement. So week 17, we saw my Green Bay Packers take on the Chicago Bears, watched every second of this game. And the Bears had an obvious plan to attack the opponent with their short passing game, and it worked. They kept Green Bay off the field, and I'm using worked very loosely right here. What I mean is they completed a lot of passes. They kept Aaron Rodgers off the field for a good portion of the game, and they were using Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney in the short passing game relatively effectively. That's kind of what I expect they're going to have to do this week. You don't have a lot of success running on New Orleans. They've been very good against the run for several years right now. I do think Chicago in a dome, which I like the fact that there is a dome. Mooney got banged up last week, so who knows if he's even going to be able to play in this one. Kmet has seen 6+ targets in 4 of the last 5 games. As Jimmy Graham, while still being a better red zone target than Cole Kmet because of his size, has clearly seen better days. He could go out in that running race with Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols, and he's not very fast anymore. So Cole Kmet's a younger, more athletic tight end at this portion of his career. He's only 3K. I expect the Bears to have to throw in this game, whether that's because New Orleans gets up or because they just don't have a ton of success running the ball against a very good run defense in New Orleans. I expect Cole Kmet to get 5+ targets in this game, potentially hit pay dirt, which is always a nice thing, but I think they're going to have to throw. And Cole Kmet is an excellent value play on this slate, in my opinion. That's what I got for you this week, guys. Want to wish everybody the best of luck when it comes to breaking down their NFL DFS slates this weekend. We'll be back at you guys in a little bit with our NBA DFS information for Friday, the 8th of January. But in the meantime, good luck. Go win that money. Membership's available through the website. Let's have ourselves a wonderful NFL DFS weekend, and I'll holler at you guys soon.